All right, welcome back to Man Down Sports, man. Outside of my usual time of Tuesday at 4:30 Pacific time, we're actually Wednesday at 9 o'clock Pacific time, so it's like 12 o'clock Eastern. So I don't expect a lot of people to get the live tonight. But if y'all do join and y'all up late, cool, man. Y'all get to come in here and you know, uh, witness a good episode tonight. I appreciate it when y'all come in. Y'all go ahead and put something in the chat. Let me know who in here. Let me know when I get my moderators in here as well. So for my moderators, when y'all get in here, there you go. Chocolate Rider, what's up? Ain't seen you in a while. Sean Okafor, what's good? G Money Bag 23. Got some people in here, man. So hit the share button, hit the like button on your way in as well. Posh King, another what's up, J1? And Aaron, what's going on? Is that my nephew? The big Ben over, he said. My nephew said. Shout out to my nephew, man. He said the big been over. Well, we definitely go talk about it and have a conversation about it. Um, I think that's gonna be cool, man. And AJ, man, he said the big been over. What up, man? Gold Mines, what's good? What's good? Aaron GPDs, Kurt, man, we're gonna have a conversation, man. It should be a good show, y'all. So I do want to shout out my members, man. We got some new ones. Appreciate Laker Nation for being an all-star level member. Mikey Brass, all-star level member. For those of y'all that don't know, man, I'm trying to upgrade all of my equipment. You know what I mean? Cameras, better cameras. And then on top of that, like, I'm trying to build a little studio as well. Because I got a lot of stuff, a lot of creation and content creation I got in mind. With just not just me, but with others and stuff like that, man. So I got big ideas. And for the reason why I be shouting at my members and trying to do members only content for them and stuff like that is because, man, they paid members. You know what I mean? They have saw the channel and thought enough of the channel and the full panel and myself, thought enough about us to say, you know what, I'm gonna invest some money and I want to see what y'all can do with it and how big y'all can grow this channel. So I definitely appreciate that, man. So Laker Nation, Mikey Brass, Cliff Hill. He also hit me up in the cash out earlier. What did he say? Cliff, what did you say in the cash out? He said something that was funny, man. What did he say? Cliff, what did he say in the cash out? It was something funny. Oh man, where is it at? Cliff said, what was the comment? He said he gave me a cash app and he said you made this money today, but you made it in a sleazy way, which was a callback to something I said on the episode when I quoted Tupac when he said LeBron James did something. I was like, yeah, but he didn't do the sleazy way. He said something about his rings. He got 4 rings, but he made it in the sleazy way. But he that was the message he left me when he hit me in the cash, man. That was funny, man. That made me laugh, yo. Appreciate that, Cliff. And he's a member. Xena Omega is a member. He's been a member, or he or she. I don't know if it's he or she, but they've been a member for 3 months strong. Simply 510. Michael Young, Big Al Master Chief. That's my goat locker buddy. What's up, Big Al? Hey, man, he's a member, man. He donates, he hits the cash app, he does all that stuff, man. So I appreciate my goat locker buddy, man. Savon Arnold, the Joker 687. Savon Arnold, man, a whole year, over a year, he's been a member. That's dope. The Joker 687, almost a year. Malachi Israel, over a year. Scott Merriweather, Ashley H, a year. These people that's been donating for a long time. It's not that serious. Keith Brazell, Big T, James Reed, Demetrius Day. Demetrius Day always leave a comment on every video. I see him every single day. Taco Master. He been there he been there for a long time. Cedric Franklin, E. King, Steve Calvert, Unspoken Voices. That's my auntie. I never met her, but that's my auntie, man. She been there. When she first called in the show, man, I knew she was rocking with us, man. She was a ball of fire, man. Ron Walters, WW Shay J, R Bing. I forgot Taco Master again. He's in here twice, so he's a member from two different accounts, man. That's dedication. Shay J always riding with me. R Bing, Jeffrey Guyot, man. He calls me after each show sometimes, and he chop it up with me and give me like encouraging words and stuff like that, man. All of that stuff don't go unnoticed, man. I appreciate y'all. Shot Rider West Sider 23, Wizman Ball, all that. And for those that don't know, like my members, not only do I try to shout them out and make sure I make some content when I get free time just for them. Also they I'm available for them to hit me up, man. Like if you're a member and you call me and I save your number in that phone, like we text, we talk. Sometimes they suggest certain shows like what's my man he'll text me and say, hey, look, man, what you think about this? Here, send me a link. Like I respond to that. I respond to my members and make sure I taking account of what they're saying and stuff like that, man. So yeah, I appreciate every last one of y'all, man. I definitely do. So let's get into this LeBron thing right after we shout out our sponsor, which is Underdog. And if you're gonna play Underdog and you're gonna do a little bit of pick'ems and all that stuff, man, make sure you use the promo code Man Down Sports. And here's a word from the sponsor. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play fantasy sports. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get in on some NBA action with Underdog Fantasy in that pick'em game. Just find your favorite player, or any player for that matter, pick higher or lower on that player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in one night. Pick between 2 or 5 players to fill your pick'em entry. Get every pick right, and you can net yourself some serious cash. Use the promo code Man Down Sports and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Plus, now that it's football season, you can follow Man Down Sports as we reveal our favorite picks from week to week. Like I said before, pick your favorite player, pick higher or lower, choose your dollar amount, and win some money. It's just that easy. Make picks, win money. We also want to thank Underdog Fantasy for partnering with us, and we want to thank you for helping the channel out by using Man Down Sports on Underdog Fantasy. Okay, so first and foremost, let's shout out LeBron James for 50,000 points overall for his career. That's including regular season and playoffs, man. So shout out to LeBron James, 50,000 points. Nobody has ever done it. I don't think nobody's ever done 40,000 regular season. So, he got some milestones that he reached. It's going to be in the record books for a long time. So shout out to him for doing that and making history and all of that good stuff, right? With that being said, when he hit the 50,000, there was a lot of people that were saying, that one right there made him the GOAT. Just like when he came from that 3-1 lead, that one right there made me the GOAT, right? So I mean, let's talk about it. Does that make him the GOAT that he hit 50,000? And I say it like this, right? My cousin called me and was like, man, what you think about that 50,000? Right? LeBron's the GOAT, right? And I told him a story, right? I told him a story when my son was about 10th grade. I used to have some speed, but I'm 43 now, right? And my son's like not even in his prime yet. He's 20, right? And he ran track in high school. So I beat my son. I used to can beat my son up until probably 10th grade. And then I stopped racing him because I knew he was gonna beat me. So he finally beat me probably I think I raced him when he was a senior and he beat me. And it was still a little bit close. Then I raced him this year and he smoked me. Right. So it's over. I cannot outrun my son anymore, right? However, I told my cousin this story when he asked me about LeBron. And I said, when my son was in 10th grade, we went to his track and we was going to run the 100 because that was his race and that was my race. So we ran the 100 and my son knew he couldn't beat me and he knew he was going to lose, right? So when we ran that 100, I beat him. I had a better time, but he did something I didn't expect. He just kept running, right? And he ran the entire track. That's 4 100s. He ran 4 100s. right? And when he came back and we looked at the clock, it was just evenly. He basically ran the same time on each 100 leg. He never slowed down, right? And he said that's got to count for something, right? Like I ran the entire track, 4 100s, same time on all four of them. And I looked at him and said, "Yeah, you know what? That's impressive, but that's not the race we was running. We was running the 100, and I smoked you. So even those times that you had that was consistently the same time the whole time, you never slowed down. You stayed steady the whole time. Your fastest 100 time will not be as fast as my 100 time. I'm still the fastest sprinter." And that's what I told him. I said, that's what LeBron James is doing. The race that they was running was not to see who can play the longest and impress. Like basically what he's saying, that I couldn't impress everyone as much as Jordan impressed us, right? Within 12 years or 13 years that Jordan played, if you don't count the years he was injured. So the 12 or 13 years that Michael Jordan played, he impressed us. He won 6 championships, 2 3-peats. The amount of points he scored, the scoring titles, the defensive player of the year, the all-team defenses, the gold medals, all of these things Jordan did in 12 to 13 years, that's the faster 100 time. He's the fastest sprinter. But what LeBron did is say, I can't impress y'all in 13 years the way Jordan did. So I'm going to keep running as long as I can. And along that run, something I'm going to do is going to impress you. And that's what he's doing. He's just going to keep running until he can keep accumulating stats and accumulating something that's going to impress you. And right now he just hit the 50,000. That's impressive, but who the hell was trying to get 50,000? Like, you ran that race by yourself. I don't know nobody else who aimed for that. I don't know nobody else that aimed for Kareem's scoring record. Right? The only people I know that stayed and played past their prime, past when it was time for them to go, is Emmitt Smith, because he was trying to get the touchdown record. And once he got the touchdown record, it wasn't impressive. Like, you took all this time and all of this effort, and oh man, y'all not gonna sign me because I'm not good enough to play no more. I'm gonna go play with the Cardinals so I can get this record. Yeah, I know the Cardinals will take me, right? So you did all this hustling and bustling because you want to get this record. Once you got it, nobody was impressed. Nobody thought you was a better than running back than Barry Sanders. Nobody thought you was better than Jim Brown. Nobody even thought you was better than Bo Jackson. Nobody thought you was better than a lot of running backs. Definitely not Barry Sanders. Not even OJ. So you did that to get in the record books, but nobody's impressed. If you name you the best running backs you ever seen play, Emmitt name doesn't come up that much. So LeBron is getting these numbers. It's not impressing the people that he want to impress. Right? There was a guy named Michael Jordan that everyone regarded as the greatest of all time, the best player we ever seen play, the GOAT. If you want to be the GOAT to dethrone him, the first thing you got to do is become a better player than him. Not go try to play as long as possible to get these records that he wasn't even trying to get. Like, if he tried to get those records, I can understand. I can understand if both of y'all was trying to get Kareem's scoring record, but he wasn't able to get it and you was. Then that would mean something. But if he was not even concerned about Kareem's record, I can care less about getting Kareem's record. If he wasn't even concerned about it, why are we impressed that someone set their sights on it because they couldn't become a better player than Mike? Kobe tried to become a better player than Mike. LeBron knew he couldn't become a better player, so he said, well, let me get as many as records, or let me impress y'all this other way. Let me continue to run the race. Let me run 3 more 100s after I lost the first 100. You ran 100. The race was over. You sat down. I kept running. And I want you to be impressed by how well I did on the third, on the second, third, and fourth 100 on the track. Nobody's impressed by that, right? So another thing I kind of want to discuss though, let me see if I can get to this super chat. Mustache Maniac, $5 super chat for people that say LeBron is not top 10 in his position or positionless basketball is insane activity. Can we name 10 players better than LeBron at his position? 10 players better than LeBron at his position? No, not at small forward. I mean, you got Bird, and I'm not saying this in order, but you got Larry Bird, you got Dr. J, you got LeBron, you got KD. Maybe Scottie Pippen, maybe Elgin Baylor. So you got 5 or 6 guys right there. I think the only person that's battling LeBron for the top small forward of all time is probably Larry Bird. So it'll be between Larry Bird and LeBron, and maybe Dr. J. And then after that, I put KD. I mean, it's a discussion, but Bird and LeBron, as far as players, it's 2 lists for me. It's your resume, and I think LeBron's resume is better than Kevin Durant's, and then it's the list of how good you are as a player. I think Kevin Durant is a better player than LeBron. So when you put those 2 things together, what do they stack up? Now, Larry Bird, I think, is a better player than LeBron and has the better resume than LeBron. Because I value at the top of the list winning and rings. I value that more than the points he's able to get by continuing to play. Right. Only thing that tells me is that his body is unique and his body held up better than most players, especially Larry Bird. So continue to play this long and still be this good at this age, this long, tells me you have a very unique body. It don't tell me how good of a player you are. Because they're all great players. So if your body don't break down, how do we expect your game to drop? So if your game is here and your body don't break down at 40, then your game is still here. But if Michael Jordan game was here above yours, then what good is it gonna do if we brag about your game being under MJ's all the way to you was 41, 42? Why am I impressed by that? If your peak game never got as high as MJ's, your peak game never got as high as Bird's, your peak game never got as high as Kobe's, your peak game probably never got as high as Magic's or King's or Duncan's. So now if we're talking about small forwards, LeBron is definitely top 2, top 3. But if we're talking about players of all time, I'm going Mike, I'm going Kareem, I'm going Kobe, I'm going Duncan, Bird, Magic, Hakeem, right? You can get to about 7 or 8 before you get to LeBron. Right. So and then that's if you want to include Wilt, I think I'll put LeBron in. Oh man, that's tough, man. That's really tough. Putting LeBron in front of Wilt. That's really tough. I don't know. I mean, I got a list that I've done, or I have a pyramid that I've done, and I think I had LeBron. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I had LeBron at number 10. So I had Wilt, Bird, Magic, Russell, Duncan, Hakeem in front of him, and of course, the top 3 was Mike, Kareem, and Kobe. That was my list. So yeah, number 10. Does he move up because he hit 50,000? No. Hakeem's still a better player. That counts for something, and we'll get into it. I think it'll probably come up with some of these phone calls, but I appreciate the super chat for sure. And I think we got some more comments in here. If James played when you could hit players, does he play 20 seasons? If LeBron played when you could physically touch a player like that, plus that was encouraged that you play 82 games a season, like that was like that was the goal of most of the superstars. And defense was required. Playing 20 seasons, I mean, he do got a unique body. I don't know. It's possible. It's definitely possible, but what it looked like, it wouldn't probably look the way it's looking right now, because nobody's really challenging him defensively right now at age 40. I would be testing him like how much you want to run. You'll be running all game dealing with me. I mean, that's what he did when he was young. He wasn't about to let no old head just guard him and be able to stand still. I don't know why nobody's running him or not running him. So that's interesting, but yeah, that's my thoughts on the 50,000, man. Like, I just don't think I don't think it's that impressive. But Gils Arena and all of his buddies, they were talking about it, and here's what they had to say about it.
LeBron was also named Player of the Month for February. He's now the oldest player to win the award, which he's done so 41 times in his career, which is also a record. Averaged 29, 11, and 7 per game in February. Lakers went 10 and 2 in that time frame. But let's go back to what he said in his post-game media availability. So, question for all of you: how hard is it to stay in love with the process? LeBron, you're 22.
It's definitely hard because it's a lot of ups and downs. But if you can find that middle ground through it all, you're gonna be all right.
I think he got great motivation. I don't know. I think it's probably hard because don't you think to him he probably surpassed who people try to compare him to? I think the things he accomplished and the longevity, for him, it had to be just winning another championship or just not wanting to be at home or something, playing with his son, because he done accomplished everything. 50,000 points. That's a lot of guys. Nobody's going to beat that, I don't think, never.
So Bron currently averaging 24.9 points per game. He has a streak of 20 straight seasons averaging 25 or more. Streak potentially in jeopardy now. He's still averaging.
Unbelievable.
25, 9 assists, 8 rebounds.
You're telling me if they don't stay in this second spot, he can't be MVP?
You know what the problem is, and it's showing with him, that the people who came into the NBA writing for the NBA didn't love the sport that they were writing for. It was a job.
So they didn't love the process.
They didn't love the process of, like, you've met, right? We've seen writers where they're genuinely excited to be in the arena, to talk to you, right? Like, hey man, how's the family doing? Like, we've been there. So you're looking at a man, and I heard Skip say it, right? He was basically saying, he gave him praise, like, this is unbelievable to see a 40-year-old man doing the things he's doing. I can't fathom this. And the response to it is this. You can't fathom it is because if you actually opened your eyes, you would have realized how fucking good he was when you was pretending he wasn't who he was.
Yeah.
Right? When you're like, oh man, it don't look like he's slowing down. Why is he still jumping like that? Well, because when he was jumping, he was the motherfucker bumping his head on the rim. But you were so negative about it, you didn't see. Your eyes was closed, right? And that's the problem. Like, as a fan, be a fan of, if you're gonna be a fan of a player and his greatness, be a fan of just greatness itself. So you can actually sit back and appreciate that these guys are really good. Listen, he could have retired a long time ago, just like Steph could have retired a long time, just like Katie. They could have gave up on the process, got fat. But these guys has actually been working like they are still 20 years old, and we really not looking at it like that.
Yeah, so I mean, Gil is trying to save the. I don't know. So any milestone is impressive. Any milestone you reach, it don't matter if it's longevity oriented or if it's something that kind of proves your greatness as a player. I mean, this does prove his greatness as a player, but it's more longevity based, right? What it says is your body held up long enough for you to be what you always were your career. Very good, very elite athletically, and very good player, right? That's what he is. But like I said, every player that's a top 10 player of all time, if their body didn't fail them, there's nothing that's going to stop them from going to go get their numbers. This is a testament to his body. This is not a testament to how good he is as a player. I said it again. This is a testament to his body and how well it held up. This is not a testament to how good he is as a player. We already knew he was good. For him to still be good at 40 means that his body held up very well. And that's obvious. And it's obvious that, what you're supposed to do for your body to hold up this long. You pay attention to it. You work out. You put the right things in it, right? You don't be lazy, right? So those are all good things. So that's impressive, right? Playing this long is impressive. Not being having any major injuries or major surgeries is impressive. Like, this man ain't never tore Achilles, broke a foot, tore ACL, tore meniscus. He ain't never done none of those things, right? So, I think that's phenomenal for him. Does it make him the GOAT? No, it doesn't. Does it move him up on the list of all the greats? No, it doesn't. Not just the number itself. Not continuing to play. It just means your body held up. So if you want us to be impressed by his body holding up, I guess we can be impressed. But like I said, for those of y'all who joined late, my example or my analogy was me and my son on the track running the 100-meter race. I smoked him in the 100. I have the better 100 time. But after I finished smoking him, he kept running. And he ran the second 100, the third 100, and the fourth 100. And then he came back and showed me his time and said, I ran the exact same time on all 4 100s. Does that impress you? I was like, it would have impressed you if you would have beat me on the first 100, because that's the race we was running. Right? So this race that LeBron is running, he's the only one trying to run it. He was the only person out of all the great players, whether you want to talk about Duncan, Mike, Kobe, he was the only person that said, I want Kareem's record. He's the only person that said, I want to go play with my son. He was the only person that said, I want to get 50,000. I want to get 40,000. All of these milestones he's getting, he's running that race totally alone. There's no one that's racing him for this. So getting there doesn't give you the leg up on the next guy. Now, the race that all the superstars was running was the ring race. Who can get the most rings? Of course, Bill Russell got that. But the way the league was set up back then, no one would ever get 11. It's just not gonna happen, right? No one ever get 11 unless they do some weird stuff. Like with Michael Jordan, he ended up getting 6 and he retired. Now, if Michael Jordan wanted records and he wanted more than 11 rings, he could have chased it. There was a pathway for Michael Jordan to get Kareem's record. One, don't retire after you beat Utah in the finals. You was only 35 years old, right? So he had 5. If he would have played up to 40, who knows what his numbers would have been? He probably would have got Kareem, and he knows if he would have really sat down and looked at it and was like, man, if I play 5 more years, I can catch Kareem. But he wasn't trying to do that. Like, everyone already considered him the greatest we ever seen, and he did that by becoming the greatest player on the court, not the greatest player on paper. The greatest player on the court, which means that you go in the gym in the off season and you work on everything. You go in the weight room, you work on everything. You strengthen all your weaknesses to the point you don't have any weaknesses as a player. He didn't have no weaknesses mentally either. He didn't have any weaknesses physically. He put all that together to become the ultimate player, the ultimate winner. That's how you do. That's how you become the greatest, not by looking at the paper and saying, oh man, if I play long enough to get this number, they got to consider me. Well, their approach was supposed to be, here's a player that's dang on near perfect with 0 flaws in his basketball game. How can I get that perfect? How can I get that good? That should have been the approach. That was Kobe's approach. He studied Mike's game and said, I want to get that sharp with everything I do. LeBron said, nah, I'm going to just do my thing and I'm going to just go get the numbers. Because if I get the numbers, like the argument is going to be had on paper, especially with these new fans. These new fans aren't sitting there looking at film to find out who's the best player. They can care less who the best player is. If you can get it on paper, then it's true. And it's spoken just like a true person who's never read a resume or read 5 resumes and you only got one opening that you can hire. You go through 5, maybe you go through 50 resumes. Anybody can look really good on the resume. And then you get them out there on that field, out there on that workforce. Oh, man, I just got a lemon. I just bought a lemon. Right? So putting stuff on paper is one thing. You know, if you ever hired somebody and you had to go through resumes or applications, or if you ever been a manager or someone in charge where you had to write annual evaluations on people, you know that you can put fluff on a resume. You can doctor your resume up and put things on paper, but the things that's on paper is not what they actually sing, or they're not actually what it is. I got 50,000 points. Nobody else has it. One would probably think he's the best scorer we ever seen. But when you watch the tape and watch the game, and you realize there's several players that are better scorers, right? So what does that mean? How did he get to 50,000? Nobody else did. His body held up. He played for a long time, right? That's what I say about that. I'm going to open the phone lines up. Remember last time when I opened the phone lines up, y'all, I get the phone call in. Everything works fine. And then on the second phone call, there was some lag. So bear with me. I'm going to try to take more than one phone call. But if I have that lag again, you got to give me a second. We just have to work around it. I remember once, if it lagged, I would just disconnect it from the Bluetooth and then reconnect it, and then it'll work. So bear with me on that. All right, let me see if I can call her from Chicago. Can you hear me? Good, man. What's your thoughts, bro? Oh, hold on, real quick. They said they can't hear you. Hold on. They said they cannot hear you. So let me see if I can test it. Say something again real quick. Oh, okay. Now I see what I did. Yeah, my bad. All right. Go ahead, brother. My bad. They said they couldn't hear you, but you good now. I had you on mute. Go ahead.
So
Yeah, say what you were saying again.
So the longevity thing, if you're a LeBron fan, you're going to try to use that, right?
Yeah.
But normally we don't even hear about accumulated stats combined in playoffs and the regular season. They always move in the goal line with LeBron, right? But MJ averaged the most points in NBA history. He has the most consecutive scoring titles at 7, 10 scoring titles, the most all time. Then he had a higher player efficiency rating, so he did it more efficiently. LeBron now, I think, has played 512 more games than MJ. If MJ just averages 20 points for those 512 games, he has more points than LeBron. If he just averages 20, if he averages 30.12, because we got to take out the prime season when he broke his foot, the 2 prime season when he was retired, right? Everybody want to count when he came from the executive office, but you can't really count those because he had a bad knee. He had a torn knee. And he still was averaging 20-something in that era where it was harder to score.
Correct.
So these are bloviated scoring points, these, in this era. So I look at all of that, right? Right now, MJ, what does his averages in that era correlate to this era? And I believe that's more like 37 to 40 points a game. Easy,
I agree.
right?
I agree.
So, it's an easier era to score in, and everybody chucking up threes. Steph is shooting 11.2 threes a game.
That's crazy.
It's out of hand, right?
That's crazy.
So you bring down the scoring with defense. So they always talk about LeBron's the better overall player. But if you look at the actual skill of passing, Jordan was a better passer. We talk LeBron's just more willing.
Correct.
But over all around player, if Michael Jordan does the two things in basketball that is the most important, scoring and stopping your opponent from scoring, then that means he's the better overall player.
Correct.
Because those are the two aspects of basketball that are important. Outscoring your opponent. When does passing become so grandiose of a stat that we need to look at? When Michael Jordan
Magic Johnson made that, but every rule has an exception, right? Passing was usually something that your point guard did for your team, and your point guard was in most cases not your primary scorer, right? So you would have your John Stocktons and your Rod Stricklands and your Mark Jacksons and stuff like that, and their goal was to make sure that your best player is getting his looks and make sure the offense is being ran and you're taking care of the ball, right? Magic Johnson came in and was an outlier. He was the exception to the rule, and he kind of changed the game a little bit, where everyone saw passing as like the new thing to do, right? So I mean,
what MJ did in the first finals, right? He averaged 11 assists a game. So he tried to show you a point. 30 points and 11 assists in the finals against Magic Johnson.
And people don't be catching on to that type of challenges that MJ used to take. Like, he played the Lakers in the finals, and everyone talked about well, first of all, before he got to the finals, everyone would say that a scorer that wasn't a big man can't lead a team to a championship and stuff like that. And they were talking about Michael Jordan was scoring too much and all this stuff, man. And then he goes against Magic Johnson and Lakers and show you he can pass, what was interesting. And then the next year when they played the Blazers, everyone was saying, oh, man, he and Clyde are similar players, man. We don't know which one is better. We do know that Clyde shoot the three better than him. Michael Jordan's not that good of a shooter. So what did he go? He go out and set the record for three-pointers made in the first half of the playoffs. He hit 6 or 7 threes in the first. So I like those challenges, and those type of nuances that you can't really grasp or feel if you didn't grow up in that era. Because what what people are doing now, they're going back and watching highlights of those games, but they didn't feel the tension and hear what the reporters were saying in the news and on the papers and on ESPN and all this. You didn't hear all that, so you didn't get to understand what was motivating these dudes and what made them tick, man. So that makes it that's a good point you brought up, man. He was averaging 11 assists in that series. That's insane.
Because he wanted to. Right. When they put him at point guard, the man averaged a triple-double, and it was outrageous, right?
That's correct.
And he still was still volume scoring, right? And that was in an era where defense was tough. It's just a simple thing. And he had the ball in his hand more. Plus, he still was playing defense. So even that year when he averaged all those assists, he still was averaging 3 steals a game. I mean, both sides of the ball, expending more energy. LeBron taking a break on the other side.
He definitely is doing that now, for sure. He definitely is doing that now, for sure, man. But look, man, I appreciate the call, man. I'm gonna see if I can get 2 more calls in on this topic, man. Thanks for the call, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right. So here's the moment of truth, y'all. Call back in, and this is the part we're about to find out if it's a lag or not. Greg Anderson, what's good, man? Can you hear me good, or is there a lag? Hey, Greg Anderson, you might have to
No, I can hear you good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you real good, yeah. Oh no, the lag is back.
Okay, can the audience hear me?
I think they can hear you. Can you hear me good?
Okay. All right, so what you want me to do? You want me to
call right back. I'm gonna disconnect it from Bluetooth.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I'm gonna disconnect, call right back.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can't seem to fix that daggone. That's so unfortunate too. All right, so let me see if I can connect this thing back up. So I gotta I tried to get Road to help me out. You know, I called the help desk and all that stuff, man, but they ain't figured it out yet. And I thought I figured it out when I rebooted everything, but evidently not. So Greg Anderson, call right back. I get you back in. All right, Greg Anderson, can you hear me? Greg.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Or can
can.
the audience hear me?
The audience can hear you. It's just it's a lag.
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, what about the audience? Okay. Okay. Well, let me just say this. First of all, man, thanks for doing the show tonight. I'm halfway in bed. I'm about to go to sleep, but you kind of in the backdrop, dropping some knowledge, so I can't go to bed on this good knowledge with all of this glazing that's been going on for the last 3 days. Somebody need to tell the truth. But I say that to say this, man. You know what LeBron remind me of? All right, LeBron remind me of that cat that's hitting a lot of chicks, like after like chicks that had 3, 4 kids and she don't look the same. She ain't fine no more. You know, I had her in college, you know, in the prime of her life, you know, when she was really something. And LeBron is hitting all of these chicks when they got the flat tire, they got the spare tire in the front of their shirts, and you know they just ain't the same. And look, so like I'm saying, we not playing the same game, bro. I played the game when it was worth something. You playing the game where it's like, man, she done halfway gave up on life. Now, that was a bad analogy, but you know, I'll take your comments off there since it's a lag.
All right, thanks, Greg. No, but it's the same. No, it's not a bad analogy. It's the same analogy that I gave, man. It's just you running a totally different race, and no one was ever impressed by that. Like no one was ever impressed by how long someone could play. Like nobody was ever impressed by how long someone could play. I just can't remember it. When Robert Parrish was out there playing forever, nobody was impressed. When Kareem was out there playing forever, nobody was impressed. Right now, I know Kareem and Robert Parrish wasn't scoring and running and dunking and jumping the way LeBron is at 40. But yeah, I mean, it's impressive that you can still run and jump, right? Yeah, that's impressive. But you're still not better than the best we've seen. So staying good as long as you did doesn't make you better than the best we've seen. The best we've seen is the best we've seen. You're not it. You're not getting better, even if you're staying or slowly declining into your 40s. You're still not best than what we've seen. You're still not better than Mike and Kobe. Mike and Kobe clear you. Hakeem clears you. Tim Duncan clears you. You're not better than those guys. But you know, kudos to the 50. I think that's dope. I got some super chats in here I need to get to. Taco Master said 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and LeBron asking for more more help. Well, he got it this year, didn't he? My Sean said, we all know this is not a real 50K now. They're 50K, right? They're counting his whole career and not him scoring 50K in the regular season. Yes, it's playoffs and regular season. T Perfect said, Mel, debate me on FYF, Bron versus Kobe. Let's do it. No, thank you. How about we say we did it? We say you won, but we actually don't do it so we can save each other the time. Right. Yeah, that's I get nothing out of that. Like some people like debating. I get nothing out of that. Like, you know, because you have your opinion, I have my opinion. I've never had a conversation with someone about basketball. We had different opinions, and then we walked away saying, I changed my mind. Right? Never done it. I changed my mind. Or you actually proved that I was wrong, or you actually proved that this guy was better, right? No one walks away from these YouTube debates saying it, right? Nobody. So I've never volunteered myself to get on in the shout match in public on YouTube with someone I don't know, some stranger. I've never volunteered myself for that. You know, me coming on here doing my show, giving my opinions, and then people call in and have a conversation about what my opinion is. I think that's more my speed. But going on somewhere where, hey, look, let's shout at each other and let's, no, that's not my thing. Don't invite me to another debate. We just not gonna do that. But I appreciate the invite though. I appreciate the invite for sure. And I appreciate the $2 super chat too, man. Let's move, y'all. Let's go to our next topic. I was watching Byron Scott's podcast. I think it's called Fast Break. And Tracy Murray was on there. Man, if y'all don't remember Tracy Murray, first of all, when I was in North Carolina, we used to get WGN. So we used to get a lot of Chicago Bulls games. And then we used to get replays of the Washington Bullets game or the Washington Wizards game really late at night. My favorite point guard was Rod Strickland. He still to this day, he's probably my favorite player of all time. He's the guy I modeled my game after of in high school. I wanted to be like Rod Strickland really bad. So I used to watch a lot of Wizards game. And I remember they had that lineup. They had Calbert Chaney, Rod Strickland. They had Chris Webber, Juwan Howard, and George Murison. That was their starting lineup. 7'7" George Murison, a 6'11" Chris Webber, a 6'9" Juwan Howard, 6'7" Calbert Chaney, and then Rod Strickland. And then they would come off the bench. They had Rasheed Wallace on the bench as a rookie. They had Rasheed Wallace. They had Tracy Murray. And Tracy Murray could shoot the lights out. You want to talk about shooters. Tracy Murray, I mean, Dale Curry was a great shooter. Tracy Murray was right there, if not above Dale Curry. That's how good of it. But the difference between him and Dale, they both kind of shot it the same. They didn't get a lot of lift. They didn't have to jump a lot because Tracy Murray was a 6'8" legit. He was a legit 6'8" small forward, maybe 6'9". Had a wide stature to him. Sometimes he would get a little overweight, but when he was in really good shape, he was a really good player. He had a couple of years, 3 years in a row where he was averaging 14, 15, 16 points, like 3 years in a row, played 82 games 3 years in a row. But this is the crazy thing. This man shot 46% from the 3-point line 1 year. 46, right? And then, normally he would shoot, like a average year for him would be 40%, 39, 42, then, like a bad year for him would be 35%, which is average, right? But then he'd be back up 39, 43, but 46% is insane. Then on top of that, this dude averaged 44 points in high school, which was great. 44 points, like 18 rebounds. The dude could hoop, right? Anyway, I like to say this. He's on the podcast. He's talking about modern day basketball and all that stuff, man. And the first question they asked him was about the 3-point shot. Hey, man, what do you think about today's game and how they shoot the three, right? This is what he said.
Let's do it.
You were a 3-point assassin when you did get into the NBA. And 1 year, you shot 46% from the 3-point line. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on today's NBA game and everybody shooting the 3-ball?
I'll tell you one thing. Ain't nobody shooting 46% in this damn league. They ain't shooting 43. They ain't shooting 46% from the 2-point line. Right. Shit. He's shooting 46 from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Well, it's like this. My only problem with, I think it's too many threes going up.
Yeah.
And it's from non-shooters shooting 3-point shots. I can understand if it's Steph, Clay, people, the usual suspects that are getting them up or getting more up. But, I mean, B. Scott, go ahead, shoot them all you want. But when you have non-shooters, 4s and 5s who are non-shooters, they're like, hey, go ahead and jack that 3 up. You know, maybe it'll go in. That's when it's a problem. You know, because we all grew up where we all had to play a role, right? Everybody wasn't doing the same thing. Now everybody's doing the same thing. You're either taking 1,000 dribbles to get to a shot, or everybody's jacking a 3. And some of the 3s are bad shots. It's like off the dribble, step back, kicking your leg, 2 hands in your face 3s, you know, and it's like some of them go in because these kids know how to make tough shots. You know what I'm saying? Some of them are outstanding at making tough shots. Steph is one of them.
Yeah.
But the non-shooters should not even be thinking about go crash the board, set a pick, dive to the rim, get to the mid-range, get to your range.
Yeah.
You know, people, there's a such thing as get to your range. Everybody don't have 3-point range, but everybody's allowed to jack up a 3. I just don't understand that as somebody that can shoot a 3.
Right.
You know, I just don't understand. Now you're taking my spot.
Right.
You're taking shots away from my area. Like, remember back in the day, we tried to go post somebody up, and I'm pretty sure Cap said this to you. Man, get your little ass out of here.
That's right. That's my area.
Right. That's my area. Get
your
your little ass out of here. Like, we were told that from the bigs.
Yeah.
Now we got bigs out there. Man, get your ass back in and get out of our area. You know, it's just the game is just, it's cloudy right now as far as roles defined, what people should be doing, should not be doing. You know, I think these kids are skilled.
Yeah.
They skilled in athleticism, unbelievable. I mean, and I also think the kids aren't to blame for all of this because there's rule changes and stuff. So players will adjust to whatever rules you give them.
Yeah.
So if they were to say, look, that's not your shot. Set a screen, dive, or we'll look for you on the block, or we look for you on, if we come off the pick and roll, we'll hit you on the roll for a mid-range shot. That's your shot. You know, and I think that's the role clarity is missing.
But is there?
So he mentioned 2 things, right? The last thing, well, one of the last things he mentioned is that you can't really blame the players for this, right? You know, you can't blame, because this is what they've been told and taught, right? So let's put that in the parking lot for now, because we're going to get to that. But the other thing that he mentioned is that the roles are clouded and cloudy, and he mentioned that, you know, if you got Kareem, he called him Cap. If you got Kareem on your team, his job is to control the paint on both ends of the floor, offense and defense, right? Kareem wants to be in the post. That's his domain. That's where he's king. If I seen a point guard come down here and wave me out of the paint because he wanted to post up somebody, hell no. Nah. Furthermore, these dudes were so serious about their role as a big man in controlling the paint, right? This is my house, right? Don't come down here. If you was a point guard on the other team trying to run through that paint, you getting several elbows, shoulders, hip checks. Like, I'm embarrassed that you think you can come down here. I'm offended that you freely just want to come through this paint. Like, you should be afraid to come down here. That's the attitude we had, and it didn't just end at your opposing team. It went to your teammates as well, right? If I make my money grabbing rebounds, and here comes little Kevin Johnson. I'm Charles Barkley. Here comes little Kevin Johnson trying to grab a rebound. Get the hell up out of here. This is what me and Oliver Miller, we got this. We got these rebounds, unless we're playing a huge team where the game plan is for everyone to crash the boards because we really need to win the rebounding battle tonight. Then that's a game plan. But for you to just casually think that you go come down here and snatch rebounds, then what am I going to do? If my point guard snatches the rebound, and I know he's not going to outlet pass to me, he goes snatching and go coast to coast, what am I doing? I mean, of course, run the floor. That's obvious. But, I mean, the way that play's supposed to go and how it's expected to go is that big man grabs that rebound, and those guards are getting the outlet pass. The outlet pass should be coming right. As soon as they grab that rebound, they come down, keep the ball high, and I'm throwing an outlet to half court if I can get it to half court. And we on the break. And then I'm gonna run the floor. Everybody else is gonna run their lanes, but I'll be the last one up. I don't want who grabbed the rebound, but they're not doing it. They won't Luka to just lollygag down there and cheat on defense, and him snag the rebounds. Big man not giving the rebounds no more. So he's saying the roles is not even, it's clouded. Like big man don't even know what they're supposed to be doing no more because the guards are doing all of it. The guards grabbing the big man's rebounds, the guards running the break, the guards shooting the threes. Only thing big man is doing is setting screens and maybe trying to grab some offensive rebounds to keep the play alive. But even when they get the offensive rebounds, they can't even go back up and score. They got to look for a three-point shooter. That's what the analytics are saying. Right? Imagine going into the jungle, and this is why roles are so important, because people are created a certain way. Like if I'm 7'5" and we playing on 10-foot rims, I have an advantage the closer I get to the rim. The further away I get from the rim, even if I'm a great shooter like Wembanyama or Bo, my advantage is still in that paint. I'm 7'5". I can be a phenomenal shooter, 40%. I can shoot as good as Tracy Murray, 46%. But I bet you I shoot 50 down at that paint. And furthermore, if I'm down in that paint and I'm shooting 50%, guess what you got to do? You got to make a decision. You going to let me score or you go foul me? And then once I get a foul on your best player or 2 fouls on your best player, that opens up a whole nother can of worms for us. And now we can, that's another wrinkle we can play with. But I'm bailing you out if I'm back there shooting threes and I'm 7'5", right? But don't get rid of your advantage. You go to a jungle, you're going to be confused if you look and you see, I don't know, you see a freaking lion in the tree where the monkey's supposed to be, and you see the monkeys in the freaking water where the hippos bathe, and you see a hippo over there, I don't know, trying to eat the highest tree like a giraffe. Like, I mean, it's just confusing. It's confusing to come on the court and see 7'5" shooting threes. I mean, I just don't get that. But that's Tracy. Here's the other thing he said though. You can't even really blame the players. And Kevin Durant was on Draymond Green's podcast, and he spoke about and I think we all know this, but you know, to hear it coming from Kevin Durant's mouth was eye-opening. This is how Kevin Durant described it.
Today's game, right? When you first came in the league, you probably get 15, 17 shots. So you had to be efficient. Mm-hmm. So like the chase for efficiency is the DNA throughout your whole narrative in your game. And looking at the young dudes now, they don't have that. They don't have a efficiency rating, right? It's just get a high volume of shots up. If I get hot, great. But it's almost like it's like playing the slot machines.
Yeah.
Right. With a little better odds.
Yeah. I mean, it's encouraged though. I keep saying it. Like we can't just keep not, putting the coaches out on the forefront now. They telling us, you know what I'm saying, to be this aggressive throughout the game and to get up more, to do more, to shoot more threes. And you know what I'm saying? And sometimes that efficiency, when you shoot a lot of threes in the games, I see some dudes shoot 9, 10 threes in a game. You compromise that, like, making half your shots. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
40%, even 35, 36% is considered good. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's making 3.5.
Yeah. So if you 4 for 11 from the 3, like, all right, that's the standard that I'm at. You know what I'm saying? If I'm 12 for 25 from the field, I still had 32. I mean, yeah, that's a good that's a good number. 47% ain't bad from the field, but it's like a few of them shots you probably could have made 17 for 25 if you wouldn't have took 4 of those threes, and you might have stepped in and made a little layup or pull up jump shot. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of game I'm thinking about. But now it's just like, let's get them up, and there's gonna be some high number of games. Dudes gonna get 40 or 50 that way. You know what I'm saying?
So he said, let's not let the coaches off the hook. They're encouraging this. The coaches are telling us to get these threes up, shoot more threes, more threes, more threes. Imagine being beating your head with that film study and practice. Get the threes up, get the threes up, get the threes up. Why are so many coaches coaching like that? Especially some of these coaches that I think know better. like is it anybody above the coaches that are saying that they want the game to look like that? Like, I don't know if Adam Silver has anything to do with it. I don't know if team ownership has anything to do with it. But all of a sudden, all the coaches are coaching that way, saying get more threes up, get 40, 50 up a game. Like that came out of Kevin Durant's mouth. That came out of BJ Armstrong's mouth. I did a video on BJ Armstrong saying that. He said, I've been to the coaching camps and the coaching clinics. This is what the coaches are saying. But when he talked to him face to face, the coaches know better. That's what BJ Armstrong said. He said, I know these coaches know better. But someone is telling them, and he said, I'm not going to hang them out to dry. But someone is telling them that this is the way we want the game to look. So in my opinion, I think it's coming from above the coaches. It's at the ownership level or even above. I can't say that Adam Silver is above the owners, but because they hired him, but it's coming from the NBA front office and the owners. And I don't know why. You know, I don't know if it has anything to do with gambling and Vegas and betting or rigging. Like, I have no clue. I don't know if they think they protect their investment if they play that way. People get hurt less. I don't know if the type of fans they're trying to reach enjoy that style. You know, because I think with players like myself that they call old heads and all that stuff, right? We like basketball so much. As long as there's not another professional league in America that we can go and watch the greatest players play, if you want your basketball fix, you're going to have to go to the NBA. It's almost like if there's only one drug dealer in your neighborhood and he's putting out bad product, but you want to get high, so you got to go to him. Like, if you have a monopoly on something, you have a monopoly on something. And the NBA have a monopoly on professional basketball in America. Like, we just can't go get it nowhere else. Right? So until they have a competitor, you know, like NBA Live didn't have a competitor, and until 2K popped up, NBA Live kept putting out horrible games every year. All they changed was the cover. Threw the same game out there, changed the rosters, the same game, same graphics. 2K came along and crushed them. NBA Live ain't recovered yet. All right. So if you don't have a competitor to push you to do better, then this is what they go do. They're not going to lose the diehard friend that's been there since the 80s. They're not going to lose me because I have to watch basketball because it's addictive. The game is addictive for me. If I'm not playing it, I'm probably watching it. So it's addictive for me. So I'm going to watch. So they're thinking, well, we don't have to satisfy them. They're not going nowhere. How do we get those kids, the ones that's watching Toy Story and all that stuff, they don't even like basketball? How do we get those women that never even played basketball, don't like it? How do we get that stat nerd, that analytic nerd? How do we get that dude that teach statistics, don't know nothing about basketball? How do we get, because if we get them, and of course we get them to watch, we get the ratings, that means we get sell more TV time, but we also now are partnering with Vegas and gambling. So if we get them, maybe they might play some fantasy basketball. Maybe they might do some parlays. Maybe they might put some bets in. You don't have to know that much about basketball if you're just looking at, oh, is Jokic going to get 15 rebounds today? Yes. Here's $100. You just put it in. Like, the gambling is such a huge part of this now. You can't rule it out that's in the back of their head or not in the front of their head. Right? So the product they're putting on the floor ain't even the real deal no more. Yeah, we'll put the product on the floor, but there's so much other stuff that's going around that we're making money off of. Vegas, gambling, parlays, Underdog. You know, I can't mention all the other ones, but so many different, you know, platforms that allow you to do that. All that stuff is at play, and they want the game to look a certain way. So they're instructing people, and hiring coaches is going to go with that flow to just shoot the threes. Just get them up and down, up and down, up and down. Keep the game going like this, up and down. Throw the threes up. That's where it's at, right? He was asked about who he think that they can play in in the league in the 90s when he played from the modern day game.
Is there anybody in today's game that could play back when you played?
I mean, of course, LeBron, because he's just bigger and stronger, and skilled. I mean, his body's built to play back when we played. Our game was much more physical. Ask B about on the floppy play. I used to hate the floppy play because what did I have to do? I had to run through the middle. So if you run through the middle, you're getting man. You're getting your spinal cord rearranged, man. It's like these dudes are hitting you.
Yeah.
Right. So I would instantly say him because of his body type and the way he's able to take the pounding. Right. KD's skill set. I mean, I don't know if he can take the physicality, but his skill set, he can score the basketball, right?
Yeah. And he has it all. He can do that elbow jumper and everything.
Right. And I say Kyrie's skill set, he's hard to stay in front of. You know what I mean? Because you look at AI and when you look at Kyrie, he's, if AI can take it, and Kyrie can take it, I mean, but it's maybe Joker because it's his size, skill set,
intelligence.
Yeah. But we also played a different style of game too. They're more ISO guys, pick and roll guys. I mean, we had floppy, we throw it in, we work inside out. Could those guys play in that type of situation? Because you have to be a little bit more patient. Would Luka be able to bring that ball up if he got people pressuring him full court? People don't pressure full court no more. You got to pressure full court.
I think it would be tough for Luka.
He doesn't stay in shape either.
No, and he's not gonna have the ball in his hands like that. 90% of the time, and he's not going 1-on-1 90%. You know what I mean? Our era is a little bit more. You off the ball, you're getting off the ball, you might get it back, but we moved a lot more and set a lot more screens and things of that nature. So I think it'd be, I think he would play, but I don't know how successful he would be.
Right.
Because he's not gonna have the ball in his hands 99% of the time.
Right. I mean, he's great at making decisions and stuff, but I mean, when you see a guy handle the ball that much, you instantly think back to our era. You think Buck.
Yeah.
Buck was pushing that thing, and he was making decisions like that.
Right. Not 30, 40 dribbles. And then you know what I'm saying?
No, he's downhill. If you don't stop him, boom. And you're getting shots. And he was in shape. He's going to push it. He's going to grab it and he's going to push.
Yeah. Every
time. And if you ain't running, you just miss out.
No, you're going to be on the bench.
And we would. Yeah, and that's what when you play for Pat Riley, you better be in great shape, and you better be able to run for 48 minutes. Right. And like you said, you got to defend. But if you didn't run on a break, dog, or you didn't get back in transition,
right?
Come over here, go over here and have a seat.
Man,
I like to hear honest people that played in the 90s, like be honest about what they think about the modern game. He gave shout out, he mentioned KD, he mentioned LeBron, he mentioned Kyrie. He said, yeah, those guys will translate Jokic. Yeah, those they could play in our era, right? It'll be a little bit more physical. They'll adjust to it. They're great players, right? But then they got to talking about Luka. And you could tell they're not that impressed with Luka. Now, the more I watch Luka, the more impressed I am. But I still have the same opinion that if he was playing in the 90s or in that era, number one, at 6'8", unless you were Magic Johnson or you were Penny, you move like that, there wasn't a lot of people or a lot of coaches that was going to say, hey, I want you to be my point guard. Out of shape, chubby, slow, can't guard point guards, all of the above. You wasn't going to be the point guard. You was going to be a small forward. You was going to be Turkoglu. You was going to be Pager. You was going to be driving Petrovic, right? You was going to be one of those guys, Marcelonis, right? You was going to have to figure it out off the ball because we had the Stocktons, the Mark Jacksons, the Muggsy Bogues, the Rod Stricklands, the Greg Anthonys, the Damon Stoudemire's, Mark Price, Darrell Armstrong, Avery Johnson, Kevin Johnson, Mookie Blaylock, right? Travis Bett. Like these was the point guards. They really operated and ran the position. There was anomalies. There was guys like Penny. There was those was I think Brian Shaw ran point his first couple of years with the Heat. But then he moved off the ball. You got some 6'6", 6'7". After Magic, a lot of people was trying it. So but Penny was the one that really was able to do it. They tried Allen Houston at point guard in Detroit a little bit when he was playing with Grant Hill. They tried it, but for the most part, especially if you wasn't fast and you couldn't keep up and like, come on, like what's the point? So yeah, he would have been a small forward. So some of the stuff that Luka can do, we probably wouldn't seen him do it that often. Because some of the stuff that Luka could do, Hedo Turkoglu could do. And we didn't see it that often. As a matter of fact, we never seen it in Sacramento. And I don't know where he went out to Sacramento, but we didn't know that he could play point forward until Van Gundy had him playing point forward in Orlando. And he was in Orlando playing point forward. Oh, man. He used to hit some clutch shots, some game winners. He used to do the Big Marbles dance from Major League Baseball movie. I got big marbles. He used to do that. Man, Turkoglu was a nut, man. I like Turkoglu. But and you're not gonna find a lot of footage. So if you wasn't watching those games live back then, it's gonna be hard to find it on YouTube. All right. So get League Pass or do something. Go watch the Orlando Magic when Dwight Howard and Turkoglu got to the finals that year, and watch how Van Gundy used Turkoglu. It was just like they used Luka, except it wasn't like the main guy that they were trying to get the ball to was really Dwight. He would get it in the post. He would get it on lobs, screen and roll situations. And then they would use Dwight as a roller almost every play. And either you go give that lob up or you're going to give up a 3 to Rashard Lewis or a 3 to Jameer Nelson or a 3 to JJ Redick or a 3 to Michael Petrie. They had Ryan Anderson coming off the bench as well. Like they had some shooters. They was having Rashard Lewis play power forward. Like Van Gundy was a little bit ahead of his time. They would have Rashard Lewis play power forward alongside Dwight Howard at center, Turkoglu at the 3, Michael Petrie at the 2, Jamil Nelson at the 1. And they would let Turkoglu run a lot of point forward from their small forward position. And he was phenomenal. But he wasn't the primary focus on offense. So all the stuff we seen from Luka as a passer, Turkoglu was doing. As a point forward, Turkoglu was doing. And then the threes, the step backs and stuff like that, it wasn't always a step back, but he was a 3-point shooter, a better 3-point shooter than Luka. So he was doing that as well. It just he wasn't featured on offense. So he instead of him getting 30 points, I think he was getting 20. But Turkoglu was like that, right? My point is this. I think Luka is closer to Turkoglu than he is to Larry Bird, like people think he is, or Michael Jordan, like Jason Kidd said he was in the Michael Jordan conversation and the Kobe conversation. Nah, he's not in that conversation. He's closer to Turkoglu. The only difference is Turkoglu didn't have the opportunity that Luka has, right? So that's a difference, and that's what Brian Scott and Tracy Murray is saying. It was like, man, if people picked up Luka full court, if they picked this little fat tub of goo up full court and pressure him for 4 quarters, he'll be begging not to be the point guard again. Get me off the ball. I mean, can you imagine Derek Harper or Greg Anthony? Like when the Knicks had Derek Harper at the point guard, they said Derek Harper was the best hand check point guard full court press that there was. Like Derek Harper was a menace. All right. They had Derek Harper at the point. Hubert Davis was a good defender as well. Starks was a good defender. Then they come off the bench with Greg Anthony. Greg Anthony was just as good a defender as Derek Harper. Like it was hell playing the Knicks when they had that. Then the bigs, like if you was lucky to get up the court with Derek Harper or Greg Anthony pressuring you, and then you ran your offense and you got in that paint, you had to deal with Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing, Anthony Mason, Charles Smith. Like, it was some people down there ready to beat you. Like, the New York Knicks and Pat Riley was nothing to play with. I would love to see Fat Tubba Goo, Luka Vandross handle that pressure with Greg Anthony and Derek Harper pressuring him 94 feet. I would love to see it. I'd love to see him still get his 30. I would love it. He would look like Turkoglu, right? And that's what he's saying. The last thing Tracy Murray talked about was his top 5. He talked about his top 5.
But before I ask you that question, give me your top 5 NBA players of all time.
All time.
No position, no order. Just give me your top 5.
Like, this goes on whoever's sitting in the seat. It depends on how old they are.
Yeah,
you're right about that.
It depends on how old they are.
We've had a couple of young guys in that seat.
Yeah,
we've had a couple of older guys.
Right, they're throwing this era.
Yeah.
So, Kareem is definitely, he's the reason why I played, man. Cap don't know that.
UCLA
Cap, I
too.
love you, man.
Yep, UCLA.
Yeah, there's the reason why I went to UCLA. The reason why I picked up a basketball. 5 years old, I told my dad I want to play basketball like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So Cap, salute, man. So Cap is gonna always be number 1 in my eyes. Buck,
Magic,
Bird, bad motherfucker. hey,
that's all you say when people talk about Larry Bird. Like, that was a bad white boy.
Man, hey, because
that's a bad white boy.
Because you know me, I'm rolling purple and gold, bro. I mean, I grew up a Laker fan. I grew up in Coops camp.
Yeah.
So I'm automatically purple and gold. I'm Dina forever. I'm Pasadena.
Yeah.
So we, Coop grew up around our family. We tight.
Right.
Like family. So Lakers. Hate the Celtics. There's no other way.
Right.
So, but respected the hell out of Larry Bird, man.
Yes,
what he did on the court was unbelievable. Okay.
So you got Kareem, MJ,
Buck,
Magic Johnson, and Larry Bird.
So that's 4. MJ, definitely MJ. No
MJ,
question about
that's
MJ.
4.
No, there's no question. That's everybody's, number 1 pretty much. The 5th, that 5th one is always hard. But I'm gonna say Bill Russell, man. He's a winner, ultimate winner, man. Happened to be a Celtic, but he's the ultimate winner.
You got 2 Celtics, 2 Lakers, and a Bull.
And they all winners.
All winners.
Yeah,
all winners. You can't say greatest without being a winner, man.
Yeah,
it's just you have to win.
You got to win. So his 5 was Kareem, Magic, Bird, Jordan, Russell. Not a bad 5. Why is LeBron not there? Well, you can kind of see that he went previous era or eras before the previous era. He didn't go with anybody in this era, or he didn't even go Kobe. Right? So so you can see his I don't know if I want to call it bias, but he leaned more toward old school, right? And why do I think he leaned more toward that? Because he know what a lot of us know. He know that the best era that we probably will ever see in the NBA is the 90s era. That's the golden era, right? That's the cream of the crop. That's the best. That's a combination of a league starting and being in its infancy stage, getting better each year. Here comes Magic and Bird. Well, before Magic and Bird, here comes Dr. J, right? Take it to another level. Magic and Bird take it to another level. And now you got a combination of a league getting very good at marketing, getting very good at the business, gaining followers, and then putting a better product on the floor as it gradually went along. Because even when the popularity got there, you still had a lot of fights. You still had the fouls wasn't quite there. The image wasn't quite there. So all of this stuff got cleaned up. And then the last thing that was really to get cleaned up to usher in Michael Jordan was really the officiating and how some of the fouls was just on the extreme, right? It was less of basketball. It was a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of football involved. But now let's enforce the rules the way the rules was written. This is a foul, right? That's how we're going to play it. So we're going to call it according to the rules. And now here comes this great player, Michael Jordan. The stage was set. There'll never be another opportunity for someone to do what Michael Jordan did for the NBA, in the NBA, to the NBA, on top of the fact that he was that good of a player. Like when you watch this dude play and study him, how polished his game was, the wasted movements was not there. Like he didn't waste a lot of dribbles. He didn't waste a lot of time. He just got right to the business. One dribble pull up, two dribble pull up. Like that's how good he was, that he could get his shot off, and it was anywhere on the floor. Look, 1 or 2 dribbles, I'm there. I'm either at the rim or I'm on my pull up. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Right? He reached the mastery level where he didn't have to waste a lot of things. Right? You get what I'm saying? Like it's almost like imagining a carpenter or something like that. You know, like when you really get good at what you do, you can measure twice, cut once. Right? That's what efficiency really is. Not how many shots you took, not your field goal percentage. Efficiency is how long did it take? Like how many dribbles did you take to get that shot? Did you need any screens? How much space did you need? How many seconds did you need off the shot clock? Like when you watch Michael Jordan's game, he needed not a lot of space, not a lot of dribbles, not a lot of time, no screens. He didn't need none of that. When he got the ball, 1 dribble pull up, 2 dribble pull up. Sometimes it was just a catch and shoot, even off a screen, even in the post. Catch and shoot, catch and fade. Right? That's efficiency. You got to think, when people say efficiency, don't think about field goal percentage. When people say efficiency in basketball, think about how many seconds, how much space, how many screens, how many dribbles. Think about those things, right? So that era was the better era. Then everything got sustained through Michael Jordan's era. Then you get the Shaqs, Kobe's, the Vince Carters, the Iversons, and everything was getting maintained. And then it got to the point where something happened in NBA where they felt like, all right, man, we're gonna do some other stuff, you know what I mean? And they just started jacking everything up, and the game has been in decline ever since. Poor Adam Silver and LeBron James and Steph Curry and KD, but they are tanking the game, man. Like it's going decline. It's not getting better. So the product is bad. So the players that are on the floor can never be as good as the players that was in the 90s. I don't even think it's possible. Right? It's not. Like you can't have a tougher league, which is physical, and a league that allows defense and allows real basketball, create the GOAT, and then say, we're going to take the physicality out, we're going to take the defense out, and we're going to give more entertainment than basketball, and then say that the best player in that era is even compared to the GOAT. Like, how's that possible? How is the better product the more opposition as far as the rules allow defense and allow physical play, and then you get to an era where we say the rules don't allow physical play and don't allow great defense, and we're allowing you to score? Like Adam Silver purposely told us that I took these out of the rule book, or I changed the way we call the game for more scoring. Like, he literally said that and used Steph Curry as an example. He was like, I don't think it's a good product to watch if a skilled player like Steph Curry, for example, can get overpowered by a bigger, stronger player. I think we should allow someone with that type of skill to showcase it. So we're going to handicap the bigger, stronger player on defense so we can see more scoring. That was his bright idea for the NBA. His bright idea was let's showcase the skill. like we know y'all didn't like the Harlem Globetrotters that much because that's what the Harlem Globetrotters was doing, showcasing the skill. We're going to get the Generals, and the Generals by contract are supposed to lose every game. Like the Generals have never beat the Globetrotters. The Generals' job is to show up, lose, and let Curly Moe and all these dudes do all these tricks on them, right? And showcase their skills. And Adam Silver was like, I think we should do that in the NBA. We're going to let Steph Curly Moe Curry showcase his skills, and we're going to turn everybody else into the Generals and just let them just showcase their skill. And y'all not even going to know we switched the NBA to the Globetrotters style of basketball play. You're not even going to know it. You're just going to keep watching it and be like, dang, look at all those threes going up. And they created a league where scoring was that easy, with the fact where Jokic, Giannis, and Luka would all say it is easier to score in the NBA than it is in the EuroLeague. All three of them agreed to that and said that out of their mouth. And you got a league that is that easy to score in, and we want to celebrate someone that averages 27 when we got a dude that averaged 37 in a tougher league. Kobe, Mike averaging 30 plus in a tougher league. How we celebrating 27? Let that sink in. And with that, I'm gonna open the phone lines up. We'll take one phone call. How do you mess the league up on purpose, make it easier to score, and then we celebrate scoring? You can't celebrate nothing in this era if they're allowing it to happen. If we're making rules so it's easy to score, how can you celebrate scoring? Somebody riddle me that. Sonny from New York, what's up?
What's up, brother?
What's good, man? What's your thoughts, man? How here's the question. If Adam Silver has admitted to changing the rules, changing the defense, changing the physicality to make it easier to score and harder to defend, how can we celebrate scoring in this era?
You can't. It's like 3-card Monty. You can't. It's like saying, I won the lottery, but I knew what the numbers were 2 days before. So, and what you said earlier was so ill because they are catering to a new market. It's not about basketball anymore. It's about how can I increase the value of my franchise so when I sell my stake, it's worth more. That's what the NBA is now. So the way you draw folks in is by making a product that can just draw folks in. 3-pointers are easy to understand. Handles are easy to understand. So now we're sitting here, us, like, our generation, we understood the game because it was played like a game. Now it's played like NBA 2K My Team. But that's easy to understand. And then to your point about taking out defense, it's not even a competition anymore. What did Silver think will happen in All-Star games? You take out defense in real games, of course it's going to transfer to the All-Star games. And that's the disconnect I think he doesn't understand.
Or maybe he does. Maybe he does and don't care. Because he's what is he? A Duke graduate? He's a smart man. Right? He's a smart man. Even though he probably don't know nothing about basketball, he's been around it for 30, 40 years. He's smart. He knows, and he has advisors. Joe Dumars is right under him. So I know he's heard this. Coach K is also an advisor, right? Well, he's heard this. He's heard this. But in his mind, as a businessman, the bottom line is the bottom line. And if he's still making money, who cares about the product on the floor?
No, listen. I totally get that, and I can't even rebuttal that or refute that. But what I'm saying is this, right? At some point, when other sports start superseding your sport, like for example, this whole LeBron 50K thing, right? Okay, I've been getting calls from my boys about it, like, and they're acting like it's a really, really big deal. Technically, it could be considered as a big deal, but it really isn't when you think about the totality of the NBA. And that's the part that I think that, to your point, Silver does understand. He has advisors, but I don't think that the game's going to keep going in this trend way in a positive light over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, because the ratings are dropping drastically.
It is.
And that's something he has to look at, because owners, next CBA owners are like, look, I'm not going to charge people $17K for a ticket for the All-Star game to get that bullshit you handed me last week. I mean, my God. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, so those are conversations that are going to happen in the next CBA. What are we doing? We're playing 4 games. Anthony Edwards played 8 minutes. Imagine how many people saved so much money seeing play just 8 minutes. It doesn't make sense. I don't think Silver understands, to your point, how to run a league. I think he's a good businessman, but he's running it like it's one business. The NBA is a box of 30 businesses you have to run individually based on their own individual merits. That's how you build your entire league up.
Okay. So let me ask you this before you go. Even if the ratings drop, right? Do you think with them getting in bed with Vegas and gambling and betting, do you think they already have an idea of how they're going to get the money? Like, say for instance, you're Amazon and you part of this group that just gave the NBA a whole bunch of money for their games, right? Do you think on the back end, like, even if they, let's say the ratings are so bad, Amazon's return on their investment is not that good, but the NBA is saying, but what, not so fast. We're also gambling under the table. We're part of the Vegas thing as well. So you can also get some of this money this way because I can control the outcomes of games. Do you think that's part of it?
Yeah, of course. I think that, the play now is no longer to cater to the fan pool, because one, certain generation of fans, i.e. you, me, whatever, we're kind of aging out of their demographic. I saw what you said earlier about picking up the data scientist, the analyst, the kid who's like 12 years old right now. That's the new market. What's happened is pro sports has been gamified. And now once you gamify the pro sport, you can sign multi-billion-dollar deals with streamers. You can sign deals with, online gambling. But that's the play now for all pro sports. It's really no longer about the fan. It's how can these two parties make more money out of the sport itself. So if I'm gambling and if I'm a streamer, I'll say, look, I'll give you $4 billion for half your games this year. And then you'll profit share with me on the gambling side, because you have a big pool of capital you're getting from there. So that's what the game has become. It's become two parties playing games against the middle.
Man, that is insane, man. Golly. So we don't, like, basketball lovers, we're never going to see the sport the same again.
No, I don't think so, because you have to think of this as well, right? Look at how the kids are being trained now. Last time I was on, we were talking about 2-dribble pull-ups, schematics. None of that happens anymore. All they teach kids now is everybody has to be a great one-on-one player, because casuals can understand that, So when you think about it, what can attract the gambling pool to a sport? If it's Showtimey, well, if I have 30 teams with all Showtime players, I'm willing to, do a $5, $10, $20 billion 10-year deal with you, and vice versa on the streaming side. Like you said about the Generals, that was on fucking point. It's really just, how many stars do we have? Let them rock. That'll enable us to get gambling money and streamer money. Good luck to everyone else. I'm telling you, that's what's going on.
Yo, this is so sad, man.
Yo,
this is sad.
And it's crazy because, we kind of didn't see it coming, right? It's so funny. I remember, because I'm in New York, right? And I remember when we couldn't gamble in New York, and my cousin's in Jersey, so I'd use his account or whatever. But now that it's in New York, you don't understand, Mel. Every day I play ball in the gym. Guys are checking their phones. I'm saying to myself, like, see, the NBA knows that they could pull down like maybe 5 or 10 extra $1 billion more just from gambling over the next, call it whatever years, right? That's money they don't even have to work for. That's money the fans are throwing to them on top of concessions, on top of league fees, on top of tickets, on top of cable bills, on top of streaming money. That's what this is about now.
Man, this is sad, Sonny, man. Man, bro, I'm so glad you called me.
Listen. I got a bone to pick with you, to be honest.
Oh, man, what's up?
You've made me an insomniac. So I've been staying up looking for your show, couldn't find it. Getting up early, missing your 9 o'clock show. So I was like, what the hell? So now I can't sleep. My clock is all messed up.
Oh, man. Listen. So, hey, I remember I used to go on at 4:30 every Tuesday, right? And and I tried to go at 4:30 yesterday, man. But I'm telling, like, work picked up for me, and I got kids in volleyball and soccer. And it's hard for me to get in here at 4:30 on Tuesday, man. So I just, whenever I have a spare time or a spare minute, I jump on, man. I try not to be too late with it, but it's sporadic. But I mean,
man, you don't turn me to Blackula, man. I'm up all night, like, okay.
Well. Maybe I'll start announcing on the page when I'm going live, so so people
100%, man, because I love the show, man. I love the interaction. I love hearing other people's comments and thoughts. But yeah, man, but the game has been commercialized. That's the best way I could say it.
Yeah.
And it's being done in such a way where we're the accomplices in our own murder.
It's sad. Well, I mean, there you have it. I couldn't say it better than myself, Sonny. I appreciate the call, man.
Thanks, man. Stay well.
All right, no doubt. You too. Yeah, that was a good call, man. But good grief, man. Like, do that make sense to y'all? Like this thing is about gambling now. This thing is about Vegas. It ain't the same league no more, right? It's entertainment. It's betting. It's Vegas. It's gambling. It's rigging. It's globetrotter and generals. It's a simplistic, dumbed down game. Threes, layups, dribble, drive, kick, high screen and roll, dribble, drive, kick, high screen and roll, dribble, drive, kick. That's it. Very boring game to watch, and and we keep telling them that we don't like it. Not just the fans, but former players are telling them we don't like this. And Adam Silver will not listen because he knows he can't change it because he's already made deals with these Vegas people. He've already made deals with the devil. I can't change it. We're going down this path. Y'all just gonna have to deal with it. Get used to it. Stop talking trash. Now he done sent out all these media types and former players to go out there and tell the fans, stop complaining. We wouldn't complain if you gave us a good product. Like we wouldn't complain if you gave us a good product. 2 super chats came in. Cliff, $9 super chat. Appreciate it. $10 super chat. Appreciate you. LeBron is a kitten and Kobe is a lion. Debate is over. And it took me 15 minutes to figure out how to send this, man. I appreciate the effort, man. I appreciate the super chat 100%, man. Thanks, yo. Aaron G, FYL Sports or Big Bronzexuals. Shout out to FYL Sports and Lamont over there at FYF, man. Yeah, they may or may not be Bronze. I don't know. So Aaron G again, $5 super chat. Players can't show emotions, talk trash, get chippy without facing major consequences. Meanwhile, hockey can fight and be celebrated. Those are facts. Let's take one more phone call, y'all. Let's take one more on this topic, and then we'll move. Best podcast on YouTube. Man, I appreciate that, man. Track Addict 504. Did you like my track analogy earlier? Nah, he late to the table. Ask MJ about Vegas. Sold is sold. Fans need to stop attending games. But this is the greatest basketball ever, Mel. Yeah, man. This is supposed to be the greatest, man. Phone line still open, y'all. I'm taking one more phone call on this one. One more phone call, man. This is crazy, yo. I like even though I knew what Sonny was saying was the case, just to hear him say it and break it down like that, Lord have mercy. Man, that is insane. All right, no phone calls. All right, we'll move to the next topic. I'll take this number down and we can move to Devin Booker. And this is interesting because Phoenix Suns, they won last night. Okay, I do got one phone call. And this is interesting. Caller from Arkansas's cut you. He hung up. He hung straight up. All right, we're gonna move. All right, so Phoenix Suns. All right, we'll try one more time, Arkansas. Caller from Arkansas, make sure YouTube is shut all the way off. Can you hear me? Caller from Arkansas can't hear me. Arkansas.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
You can hear me?
I can hear you.
All
I
right.
had a issue on my end.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you. Yeah, real quick, man. That was very disappointing to hear. You know, I had been contemplating the same thing. I'm like, you know, we got coaches like Popovich who are known to actually coach their teams. We got Spoke, all these guys. Everybody's doing a copycat thing. That was never the case in the 90s, the 80s, or even the 70s. So I like yourself, I was like, this has to be coming up from a higher source. And I do remember that interview you're talking about with Adam Silver saying, let's just not see, nobody wants to see Steph get his shot blocked by a big guy. We want to see him showcase his skill. That tells me that after this season, I'm done with the NBA. I'll continue to watch NCAA. I'll continue to go to the courts on the weekends, but I'm done with the NBA, man, because it's become the WWE. And the sad part about it is, I'm a Cowboys fan, right? And the NBA, Adam Silver, he went the Jerry Jones route, and that is, as long as I can make this crap profitable and bring money in, it don't matter if I ever win another Super Bowl. Dallas Cowboys are the #1 franchise in sports. And they haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years. And they won't win in another 30. And that's what the NBA is becoming. It's become drama, WWE, and it's just become the Dallas Cowboys, meaning as long as we can bring in this money from the gambling and from the overseas fans that have no real association with these teams because they're all U.S.-based, it don't matter what the old heads like you and me and other people think because they're making money.
Now, you know what? You're absolutely right. No, you're right.
Done, bro.
No, you're right.
I'm going to watch the finals this year, and I am done. I'm washing my hands of the league until they can get this right.
All right, brother, man. Thank you for the call, man. You're absolutely right, man. Thanks.
It's sad, bro. It's really sad.
I hate that I got to hang up like that. But that lag, I mean, I just don't understand. I'm gonna fix it though. I'm gonna fix it. But yeah, so Phoenix Suns, I watched them play last night. It's painful to watch Phoenix play this season, man. They got 3 great players, 2 Hall of Fame players for sure. With Booker and KD, and then, you know, Bill is a great player in his own right. They just can't seem to get it right, man. It's painful to watch them play. Like they play horrible basketball, horrible offense. I don't understand how they can't figure it out, but nonetheless, they got a win last night. Kevin Durant went off in the 4th quarter. Haven't seen that from him in a while, so that was good to see and watch. But with them having 3 good players like they have and being out of the playoff hunt now, First Take was having a conversation on if Devin Booker should want out of Phoenix. And this is what Stephen A. Smith said.
Of their last 14, should Devin Booker want out of Phoenix?
I think so. You know, he's there. We've got to look at the Phoenix Suns situation. I mean, they went all in to get Kevin Durant, what have you. It's kind of inexplicable. When you think about Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, they're the only tandem in the league, averaging 26 a game. And somehow, some way, they can't win. They've lost 11 of their last 14. They're 5 games under 500. If the playoffs were to begin today, if the play-in was to begin today, they wouldn't even be in that. That is just pathetic. It is bad. And so, you look at Mike Budenholzer. He's a champion as a coach. He can't pull the right buttons. You look at Beal, Durant, Booker. They can't get it together. Even when they're on the court, they got blown out. They got swept by Minnesota last year in the first round. They've lost all 3 meetings to Minnesota this season, okay? So Minnesota's dominating them with and without Karl Anthony Towns. You're just looking at them right now. There's no excuse for this whatsoever. And if I'm Devin Booker, here's what you're going to have to do if you're the Phoenix Suns. You have to move Kevin Durant or Devin Booker. If you don't move Devin Booker, you move Kevin Durant, you're going to get assets. But those assets that you're going to get is basically a reclamation project. If you're Booker, you don't want to stick around for that. So, therefore, you might want to leave because he's only about 28 years of age. So, you've been in the league for about 10 years.
Yeah.
You're just looking at them right now. You're just saying, this is an absolute positive mess. There's no way around it. And as far as I'm concerned, if I was him, I'd want out.
Ocho?
So here's my thoughts on that. And I hate that the NBA has come to this. I hate that sports have come to this. Your best players just running from the grind. All for what? Because they want to chase a ring, right? And here's the crazy thing about it. I want to bring up 2 points. Number one, there's a clip of Spencer Dinwiddie. I can't remember whose podcast he was on, where he said, and Spencer Dinwiddie is I think he's Ivy League educated, very smart, money savvy. I mean, besides that mistake he made of signing a contract and asking for like half of it in crypto, and in the crypto kind of crashed, you know what I mean? So he lost money. But other than that, he was forward thinking with that. But he's a very smart guy, right? And this is what he said, right? He said that I don't understand why guys on my level chase rings. The ring is not going to do nothing for your legacy. The only people who have a legacy that needs a ring attached to it are people who want to be in the GOAT debate. So if you're not on Larry Bird's level or Magic's level, right, or Shaq or Kobe's level, if you're not on their level, if you're not a generational talent where part of your legacy, it's easy for you to make the money. Every team in the league will pay you whatever salary you want. You can go to any team and get the same salary, right? That's not a question. You can get any endorsement deal you want. That's not a question. The only thing you need is to prove where you rank at all time, and you want to get rings to make sure that people talk about you and your legacy after you're done and retired. There's only 5 to 10 guys in the entire league at a given point. I don't even know if it's 10. It might just be 5. Like right now, KD, Steph, LeBron. I think that's it. KD, Steph, and LeBron are the only 3 that's in the league who need to be worrying about rings. Like, because if Dame Lillard gets 2 rings, who cares? The ring that Gary Payton got with the Miami Heat, what did that do for him? What did that do for Gary Payton when he got that? What did it do for Jason Williams, White Chocolate, to get that ring with Miami? The only people who that ring worked for is Wade and Shaq. Not Alonzo Mourning, nobody cares. Not Udonis Haslem, no one cares. Right? Not Gary Payton, not White Chocolate, not Antoine Walker, not even James. Was James Posey on that roster? I don't know. It don't matter who was on that roster. Only Shaq and Wade got their legacy enhanced by getting that ring. Right? X-Man, I wouldn't even say Jokic. Because when Jokic retire, no one's going to talk about him. He's going to go back to Serbia and raise his horses. No one's going to talk about him. Has anyone said anything about Yao Ming since he left? Has anyone said anything about Detlef Schrempf? Has anyone said anything about Arvydas Sabonis? Has anyone said anything about Vlade Divac? He's in the Hall of Fame. Yao Ming's in the Hall of Fame. You probably didn't even know Yao Ming got inducted. You didn't know Divac got inducted. Has anyone said anything about any foreigner other than Hakeem? So no, that doesn't end, like they don't have a legacy like that for real. Right? They just don't. They don't have no legacy. They're not going to be, the story of them is not going to be told in the same light with Larry Bird, Kareem, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Hakeem Olajuwon, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. Like they're not being told in it. No one's going to do a 30 for 30 on Jokic. Nobody. Nike won't even give him a shoe. So people chasing these people chasing these rings and turning money down. And I'm like, man, what in the world? So for you to say Booker needs to leave Phoenix, for what? What if Booker leaves Phoenix and go get a ring with LeBron and freaking Luka in LA? It's going to be LeBron and Luka's ring. Booker just helped, like Chris Bosh, like Kevin Love. He just helped. As a matter of fact, the ring that LeBron got in Cleveland, that ring don't even extend to Kyrie Irving. That's LeBron's ring by himself. No Channing Frye, no Kevin Love, no Kyrie, none of that. That's LeBron's ring. No Ty Lue, LeBron. That's his ring. If you go help LeBron win in LA, it's his ring and Luka's. Booker, what is going to be the difference between Booker, Brandon Roy, and Allen Houston if he get a ring? If he turned down some money in Phoenix and go play with the LeBron and the Lakers and get a ring, what's going to be the difference between him and Allen Houston and Brandon Roy and Latrell Sprewell and Mitch Richmond? Like that's not going to put him in the Wade category or the Kobe category or the Michael Jordan category of shooting guards. He's not getting there. So no, I don't understand why we made up this thing that some player must leave his team to go chase a ring, especially at this age. The normal thing what stars did, right? Let's take, for example, Isaiah Thomas and the Detroit Pistons. Isaiah Thomas created a group of players that had like minds. They all wanted to play tough. They wanted to play defense. They were about winning and working hard. So you got Isaiah, you got Dumars, you got Rodman, you got Rick Mahorn, you got Bill Laimbeer. You had Vinny the Microwave Johnson or Mark Aguirre. All of those players, right? Those was a squad. This is what we came with, right? And once we built a team with our coach Chuck Daly, and we got a bond, and we go out to the battle, and I'm gonna bring my guys, and we go play against your guys, and we go see who's the best. And when we find out we was the best, and we won 2 straight championships and went to 3 in a row, right? Almost 3-peated. When we find out we're the best, we go ride the wheels till the wheels fall off, or we go ride the car till the wheels fall off. And then when someone comes and dethrone us, guess what we're gonna do? All right, boys, it's over. We can try one more time to beat them, but if we can't beat them, hey, it's time for us to hang it up. It's over, right? And people bowed out gracefully. You get what I'm saying? When Michael Jordan was building his team, getting his co-star, getting his role players, getting the right coach, and then once they was grown up and ready to dethrone the Pistons, and they dethroned the Pistons, all right, fellas, he got it now. It's his. Let's buy out. Let's bow out gracefully. Isaiah didn't say, nah, it's not over. I'm going to go team up with Magic in LA. And we can see if we can be. No, you came with your squad. You stayed on the king of the hill. You was the king of the hill for as long as possible. Michael Jordan and Pippen and his role players climbed up the hill pulled you off the top, and then they got on the top and planted their flag. Now they're the king of the hill, right? If you can't go back up there with your same squad and pull them off and get back on top, then it's over. Bow out gracefully, right? Especially when you past your prime and you know you've given it your all, right? So that was one way for the champions to do it. But for the non-champions like Charles Barkley, look, I've tried it. I went my whole career trying to be the best player on my team. I got to one finals, couldn't get back, and now I'm at the end of my prime. I at least want to know what it feels like to win one. So at the end of my prime or past my prime, I'm going to go join another player that's toward the end of his prime and see if I can win one with him. He's already run one. Maybe he can show me something I didn't know that I couldn't do as a leader. Hakeem, he did it as a number one. I couldn't do it as number one. So now when I'm at the end of my time, I'm going to join Hakeem and see if I can get one with him. The reason why that's important is because it makes everything clear to us, right? It's easy for us to rack and stack players. We got Michael Jordan as a number one, was able to do it, three-peat. Barkley as a number one wasn't able to do it. So now we can easily see the hierarchy between Michael and Barkley, right? But if Michael Jordan went and got 3 rings as a number one and Barkley couldn't do it, but he didn't wait to the end of his prime. Let's say when he was 26, he decided to go join Hakeem. And then him and Hakeem get 3 rings, and then Barkley try to say, I'm just as good as Michael Jordan because I got 3 rings too. That don't match. That muddies the water for us. That make things not clear. That's what LeBron did, and that's what he made everyone start doing. Before, hey man, I'm gonna do what I can do as long as I can do it. And then when I get dethroned, it's over. Or I'm gonna try to get it. And if I can't get it, when I get to the end, I might join up with another superstar just so I can see what it feels like. I'm not doing it so I can be in Michael Jordan's space. I'm doing it because I've never seen what it felt like, and I'm about to retire, and I just want to win one, at least one. That's what KG did. He stayed in Minnesota all that time. And then toward the end, he was like, I at least want to see what it feels like. And he went to Boston and joined the super team. But what that does, though, is it shows a clear difference between Tim Duncan and Garnett. So it's easily for us to say Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward of all time. But if KG would have quit trying to get it done in Minnesota real early and went and joined Kobe in LA and got 4 with Kobe or 5 with Kobe, then it'd be hard for us to determine who's better between Duncan and Garnett because they both got 5 rings. It'd be a debate, but now it's easy, right? So when LeBron was in Cleveland and couldn't get it, you just got to stay there like Tim Duncan, like Kevin Garnett did, and like Charles Barkley did, and like Isaiah Thomas, or who else? Karl Malone in Stockton, Gary Payton. You got to stay there and keep trying because the guy that you want to be compared with use that standard. So what would have happened is you probably would have got one in Cleveland like Dirk got in Dallas. You would have kept trying and kept trying and kept trying, and you would have seen how hard it was for Michael Jordan to do it as a number one in Chicago. You would have seen how hard it was, but what you did is said, they're comparing me to Michael Jordan, and I'm in year 6 already, and I keep getting put out by not Detroit, but I keep getting put out by Orlando or Boston. And those Michael Jordan comparisons is about to stop. So what I'm going to do while I'm in my prime is I'm going to go join Chris Bosh and D Wade, and I'm going to force me a ring out. And then when it's all said and done, now he got 4. And now people saying, oh, man, we can compare him to Jordan. He got 4 rings. Yeah, but he got it in the sleazy way. He didn't do it the way the Stars was doing it. He did it the sleazy way. And that's what they're trying to tell Devin Booker to do. They're telling Devin Booker to leave Phoenix. For what? Devin Booker is the one not getting it done. Phoenix has bent over backwards for Devin Booker. They're not getting it done. He's not doing something right. He the one who let Luka come back on there when they was up in the series. He the one who had a 2-1 lead on Giannis and Milwaukee Bucks in the finals and couldn't get it done. That's on Devin Booker. What you running from Phoenix from? Stay in Phoenix and do what you can do. Change the whole concept of what the NBA is doing now. Steph is teaming up with KD. KD leaving his throne and teaming up with Steph and his kingdom. LeBron jumping from team to team, and like LeBron done did everything. He done went to somebody else's team. He done had people come to his team. Like, good grief. He really want to play with everyone. Just help me get my ring. And he's doing it the sleazy way, and he want to be compared to freaking Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. You got to be freaking kidding me. Devin Booker, stay where you at. There's a such thing called go down with the ship. That's what the captain of the ship, if the ship ever sinks, it'll be the wrong thing to do for the captain to be the first one off the ship in the life raft or lifeboat. They say, man, a captain, you be the last one to get off or go down with the ship. People inviting people to their ship, and then when it starts sinking, they the first one off. It's your ship. If it sunk, you did something wrong as a captain. You didn't make sure all these checks was done and all this maintenance was done. You hit an iceberg. No, you go down with the ship. You let us get these life rafts. What you look like the captain, and you done put all these people in danger and hit an iceberg, and then now you the first one off the freaking ship? No, go down with the ship, Devin Booker. Go down with the ship like Karl Malone and John Stockton did. Don't take a life raft off the sinking ship. Stay there and finish. And freaking First Take and Stephen A. Smith entertaining this jump. Talking about, you should want out of there because y'all ain't doing it. Who cares what you it might not be meant for you to win, Booker. You might be the Charles Barkley of the NBA. You might be Carmelo Anthony. Everybody can't win it. So, I mean, I don't understand. Like, it's insane. Super chats. Let's get to them. Evo shots. $5 super chat. KD and Curry played together for 2 of theirs, and LeBron played with everybody for 3.5. and he literally played with everybody. GOAT debate starts when you win at least 13 peak. Oh, at least 1 3-peat. Okay. Well, I will say this. I think the GOAT debate starts when you are as good of a player as Michael Jordan. Because if he's the current GOAT, I don't care if you get 4, 5, 6 rings. We might can have a conversation if you get 7, because then we have to have a conversation. But the ring count is not going to count to me if you're not a better player than Michael Jordan. Like, you have to be a better player than him first. That's the first step. Be better than Mike. Then if you become as good or better than Mike, now go get more than 6 rings. That's a start. But the debate don't start if you're not as good as him. And the only person that's got as good as Mike is Kobe. We still waiting to see a player as good as Mike. Still ain't seen it. It's Kobe. That's it. And he wasn't even as good as Mike. He was just the closest one. Mike still cleared him easily. But Kobe was the closest one. There's nobody else even close. Michael Jordan is a standard that can't be reached as a player. I just haven't seen it. Kobe almost got there. So Kobe is the more reachable standard. Get as good as Kobe first. Try that. Does a ring this year count for LeBron since he is a sidekick now? Also, if they lose, will his pride stop him from playing on Luka's team next year? Man, that's a good question. A ring this year count for LeBron? Yeah, it count. I mean, he was a sidekick in Miami. I mean, they lost to Dallas the year that he was a really a sidekick, but after that, D Wade took a step back, and LeBron led. But I mean, you can kind of say, I mean, it's a super team, man. Like the same penalty that people give Kobe Bryant for playing with Shaq as a number 2, is the same penalty you should get for playing on a super team. So when you really look at the nitty gritty of it, or the net of it, Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, I wouldn't call them a super team, but the fact that you called the biggest, baddest man in the land to come and help you get 2 rings, I would even put those on the shelf. But the ring that he got without KD and the second ring he got without KD, okay, let's count those. So he's got 2. Kevin Durant's got 0. LeBron's got 1. The one he won in Cleveland. Can't count the super team in Miami, the 2 in Miami, and then the bubble. I mean, that's even worse than the super team. Like you force people to go and play basketball in the bubble during a pandemic in the middle of the George Floyd fiasco, all because you knew your team had a good opportunity to win it because AD was healthy. And it was just a great opportunity. Nobody else, like Carmelo, didn't even want to play in the bubble. You know what I mean? It was a lot of players that was opting out. And you had already had the inside scoop with Adam Silver that if you can convince everybody to play to save the league, we'll make it worth your while. So LeBron already knew he was getting that ring before they even went in the bubble. Right? So he made everybody go in the bubble because he needed that ring for his legacy. I don't count that one. That's even worse than the super team. So he got 1 ring. Steph got 2. LeBron got 1. Kevin Durant got 0. Wade got 1. Kobe got 2. Because if y'all don't want to count his 3 people with Shaq, Kobe got 2. Right? Dirk got 1. You know, that's how I look at it. Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen, 0. Right. So if you really want to be fair and don't count the super teams and the sidekicks and all that stuff, that's how it stacks out. That's how it stacks out. Mr. Steele said this is a little kid channel. Oh, Mr. Steele Life, little kid channel. Let me show you how this kid can block your ass. Mr. Steele Life. Goodbye. Banned for life. Mr. Steele Life. This a little kid channel. Mr. Steele Life. Oh man. All right. So we got one last. As a matter of fact, before we even get there, right? Kelly Oubre, this was a couple of years ago when he was just talking about well, I just played this, what he said.
I think that this game today is a little bit more soft. So to call anybody, a GOAT nowadays is, pretty much disrespectful to the hard-earned, awards and accolades that Mike and Kobe have won. And I think Michael Jordan is the GOAT because simple fact that he just wasn't denied, he wasn't able to be denied.
And he said you can't even call nobody in this era the GOAT because it's so soft. He said it's disrespectful for the guys like Mike and Kobe to even call somebody in this era the GOAT. Amazing. All right, man. Last topic, y'all, before I get out of here. I wanted to go over this MVP stuff again. Hey, man, OKC is rolling. The Cavs are rolling. 2 best teams in the league, easily, by far. SGA just dropped 41 in a win. Last game before this game, he had 51 in a win. Man, dude is phenomenal, right? So let's go over my MVP, and I want to do this every week until the season is over, right? Just go over my criteria for MVP, right? Like I always do, right? You see the MVP trophy in the middle. it's three things that I hold near and dear to my heart when it comes to evaluating players and evaluating the most valuable player in the league. And if you look on the bottom, on the left, you see offensive value. How do I show offensive value? There's a number of ways you can show offensive value. First and foremost, by scoring, right? Because that's what offense is putting the ball in the hole, right? So scoring is the number one way you can show me offensive value, right? But it's not the only way, right? So, of course, if you distribute the basketball, that's one way of doing it. But some people, their teams and their offenses ask them to primarily score the basketball, and they have someone else to distribute, or they have a team distribution system, right? For example, Jason Tatum is not asked to distribute primarily for his team. He has 2 point guards. He has Drew Holiday, runs the offense and distributes. Then he have White coming off the bench, and sometimes White start, but for the most part, they are covered at the point guard and distribution. But their team has a distribution system. San Antonio Spurs have a distribution system. They don't have one player that distributes for everyone. The Princeton offense was a distribution system. A lot of ball movement, a lot of player movement, a lot of off-ball screens. That's the way they scored. So however you get it done, if you operate in the offense where the offense distributes, everyone has equal opportunity in that offense to pass the ball, or you're in the offense like Jokic, where you're the primary passer for your offense, right? So I'm not going to penalize a player like Jason Tatum, who's asked to score and he's giving you 27 and 6 assists, all because Jokic is asked to score and pass and he's given 27 points and 9 assists, right? So those 3 assists is not going to make or break your case. But either way you show me offensive value, that's what I need to see, offensive value, right? But I also need to see just as much as I need to see defensive value, right? So some players, most players that's in the discussion for MVP are going to have offensive value. Not all of them are going to have defensive value. Some of them are going to be liabilities on defense. I will penalize you for that, right? But when you put your offensive value and your defensive value together, it needs to lead to team success. I show that in 2 ways. For offensive value, if you tell me your superpower is scoring, before I look at your team success in the record column, the win-loss column, I want to look at your team success at what your superpower is. Your superpower is scoring. Where is your team rated at in scoring? So if you are the top scorer in the league and that translated to your team being in the top 3 in scoring, then that means that your scoring is not in vain. If you're the top shot blocker in the league and your defense has led your team to a top 3 finish in defense, then your shot blocking did not go in vain, right? If you are the top assist guy in the league, and then I look at your team rating for assists, and you're middle of the pack, number 15, number 16, number 19, then your assist went in vain. Like, you're getting assists, but your team isn't. So I need it to make sense. It needs to translate to team success, and then I need to see it in your win-loss column, right? So that's how I look at it. So when I put all that together and I look at offensive value, defensive value, team success, I'm looking at SGA. He's showing me his offensive value and his points and his assists and his clutchness and his head-to-head battles against other MVP candidates, against other top teams. What he does is actually translating. His team is ranked very high in the things that he do well. And then on the defensive end, it's much of the same. And then it's leading to team success, second best record in the league behind the Cavs. But, you know, they could change in 2 games. They could be number 1. That's how close it is, right? So for that reason, I have SGA number 1. I have Jason Tatum number 2 because of the defensive value and the offensive value and the team success. And then I have Jokic number 3. And then I have Donovan Mitchell number 4. And then number 5, surprisingly enough, I got Giannis. Right. So that is my top 5 for MVP so far this season. And I take last phone call and we'll have a conversation about it because I want to hear someone that might have something different and why. And ultimately, if you think, hold on, let me do one thing before don't call yet. Hold on. Let me reset this thing one more time. All right, phone lines is open, y'all. Let's get 1 or 2 calls. Preferably someone that disagrees. Who's at number 2? SGA at number 1, Tatum at number 2, Jokic at number 3. Y'all can be impressed by those triple doubles if y'all want to. But yeah, I'm cool on that. Show me the defense and show me your team winning. All right. But he's in my top 3. And him and Tatum has been kind of switching, because I had Jokic at number 2 not too long ago, but it's Tatum now. Let me look, if I pull up the records, let me pull up the standings. Caller from Idaho.
Yes, hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hey, man.
What's good, man? What's up?
Yeah, my name's Jamal, man. So what I wanted to do, I forgot about the last question. I wanted to comment. I tried to send a super chat. I wanted to say about the KG and Tim Duncan thing.
Yeah.
That KG didn't have, the same investment as far as teammates and coaching. You know what I mean? As Tim Duncan had, as far as that whole who's the best power forward thing. I just wanted to I just kind of disagree with you about that. I mean, I love the show and everything, but
yeah,
I just wanted to mention that part.
Who do you think were the best power forward between KG and Tim Duncan?
Me personally, I'm a KG guy. I understand people saying Tim Duncan. I respect his game, like for sure. It's just that the thing I see is, I heard somebody else say it that, if he had, and I saw that too, if he had the same, like I said, coaching and just, if they invested instead of wasting his time, you know what I mean, over there in Minnesota, I believe he could have, I think he was a lot better. You know what I mean? I just want to see if you could maybe see my point on that.
I mean, I can kind of see your point, but I mean, I don't think they really wasted him. I mean, 1 year, he had Sam Cassell, who done very well for him.
Right, and Spreewell. I know
he had Spreewell.
Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure. I kind of want to see your point of view on that, but you can kind of see where I'm coming from too, I think. You know what I mean? Like, if they invested in him, like, with a good coaching and stuff like that, I think he could have, you would have been able to see more of what he had to offer. He didn't really have a good window to really get adjusted, but that was his best shot they gave him ever, but it still wasn't, it was not what Tim Duncan had for sure. You got to admit that system and just, you know what I mean? They were really trying to win in San Antonio.
I mean, Tim Duncan.
I kind of wanted to ask my opinion, and I wanted to ask you how you felt about that once I offered that opinion.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to ask you about where did you rate McGrady? I kind of wanted to ask you about that.
T-Mac?
Where your point of view on Tracy Murray? Yeah.
Is he on my pyramid? Let me see. What did I put?
I don't remember. I don't think he.
What did I put T-Mac at? Let me see. Let me take this phone number down. I got T-Mac He got to be on my pyramid somewhere. Where is he at? No, I don't have T-Mac on my top 7 tiers. I mean, but that's crazy. But now if I made a pyramid of just players without the resume, and I was just saying who I think the better player is, then T-Mac would be very high.
That's what I was asking you. Yeah.
Yeah, as a player, if we're calling him a small forward, and we're just talking about the player, not the resume, I'm still going to put Bird 1. I'm going to put T-Mac 2, Kevin Durant 3, LeBron 4, Scottie Pippen 5. Without the resume. Yeah.
Right, and that's fair. Yeah, man. I just want to say, I love the show, man. You're up there. I think you're my favorite YouTube channel podcast to listen to, man. So I listen to you every time you come on, man. And I love the show. Keep it up, and all that. But yeah, it's kind of want to get your perspective. Honestly, I forgot about what your most recent question was. My bad about that. But
this was my question. This was my question. The MVP race right now. They got it between Jokic and SGA. And when I look at my triangulation method, offense, defense, and team success, that leads me to SGA being the MVP over Jokic. What's your thoughts?
Oh yeah. No, I totally agree with you. And I'm not even going to go into it because I don't want to drag out the call, but I mean, just like the way you analyze the game, I see it. I did get it a lot, and I see the same thing. I mean, just what he's doing from the, you know what I mean? Yeah, everything he's, like you said, how it's translating into team success. And yeah, I see beyond, because you look at the system, how they're facilitating the ball and everything like that, and just how it's all working out, who he's got around him and everything like that, and what he's doing for the team. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Jokic has kind of got things tailored me, like you say about him and Luka, when they're kind of pushing the ball through a certain guy the way they are. It's just the way it plays out. Yeah. It's kind of lining up Jokic to do so well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Statistically, for sure.
Right, because exactly. Statistically.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that was it, man. I just want to say that, Jordan's the man. I don't know what they tripping about.
Yeah, for sure. Man. Yeah. All right, man. I thank you for the call, brother. Appreciate it.
Right on.
Good call, man. And I think that's it, man. That's the only call I was gonna take, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I appreciate all the super chats. I appreciate the phone calls, all the comments, even the ones that disagree, all that stuff. This is your last chance to hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button before you leave. Today is Wednesday. We'll be back in here on Friday with the full panel. Same time, which is 7:30 Eastern time, 4:30 Pacific time if you're out here on the West Coast like me. Appreciate all that, man. I catch y'all on Friday, man. Peace.